Hi Year 5, back with the Land of Stories today. We're on chapter 5, which is called From the Mouth of a Frog. It's quite a long chapter, this one, so it'll probably be in about 3 or 4 parts. So we'll get started and see how far we can get today. Alex was no longer in her bedroom. She was falling into a world of light. She fell farther and farther, faster and faster. She was dizzy and scared. She screamed out for help, but couldn't hear her own voice. Would she ever stop falling? Was she going to die? Was she dead? She wondered if she would ever see her family again. She could hear birds chirping and trees blowing in the wind. The noise seemed to get closer and closer, but she just kept falling and falling, not knowing where she was going to fall. Ouch, Alex said, hitting the ground. Her impact was hard enough to hurt, but not hard enough to seriously injure her. Had it not been for the rough landing, she would have thought she was dreaming for sure. Alex quickly got to her feet. She felt her pulse to make sure her heart was still working. She was still alive, from what she could tell. She was so thankful to have finally stopped falling. But where exactly had she fallen to? She was standing on a dirt path in the middle of a thick forest. The trees were tall and dark, with bright green moss covering their trunks. The sun's rays shined through a light mist. Birds squawked from high in the trees, and if she listened closely enough, she could hear a tiny stream in the distance. Alex spun around, looking in all directions. Her breathing increased as she took in her new surroundings. Was she overreacting, or not reacting enough to what had just happened? And what exactly had just happened? She looked up to see if there was an opening she had fallen through, hoping to see some sort of window into her bedroom, but all she saw were tree branches and the sky above her. "Where am I?" she asked. Ah! As if it had fallen right out of thin air, Connor landed hard on the ground beside his sister. He was pale and screaming, and his limbs were stretched out in all directions. "Am I alive? Am I dying? Am I dead?" he asked from the ground, with his eyes tightly closed. "You're alive," Alex told him. She had never been so happy to see him. "Alex, is that you?" Connor asked. He slowly opened his eyes one at a time and looked around. "Where are we?" he asked as she helped him to his feet. "It looks like some sort of forest," she said. It was unlike any forest they had ever seen, in real life at least. The colours were so vivid and the air was so crisp. It was as if they had fallen into a painting Alex was positive she had seen before. "Look," Connor said, pointing at the ground. "All of our pencils." The path was littered with pencils Alex had been dropping into the book all week. She also found her school bag and a few of her dirty socks in the middle of the mess. But where were all the books she had dropped into the Land of Stories? "So this is where they all went," Alex said. "But where is here?" Connor asked. "How far away home are we?" Alex couldn't answer him. She was starting to become just as worried as he was. They were worse than they thought. "This is all your fault, Alex," he said. "My fault?" Alex yelled. "We wouldn't be here if you had just knocked the door instead of barging in like that." "I knew you were planning this," Connor said. "I had to stop you." "I wasn't planning on going into the book. I was just testing it," Alex explained. "You didn't have to follow me here." "Oh, sure. Was I just supposed to leave you in the book by yourself?" he exclaimed. "What was I supposed to tell Mum when she got home?" "Hi, Mum. Hope you've had a good day at work. Alex fell through a book. By the way, what's for dinner?" Connor began jumping upward as high as he could. "What are you doing?" Alex asked. "We fell from somewhere. Up here. There's got to be a way back," he said, but all his jumping was pointless. Connor eventually tired himself out and he took a seat on the ground against a tree trunk. "What if we just transported to another country or something?" Connor asked. His forehead became more wrinkled the further he thought about it. "What if it took us to Canada or somewhere like that? How long is it going to take for Mum or someone to find us?" Suddenly the ground started shaking. A powerful rumbling had consumed the forest. The branches of the trees shook, and all of the small rocks on the ground began jumping as something massive moved closer towards them. "What's happening now?" Connor yelled. "Let's take cover," Alex said. She grabbed her bag and the twins ran off the path and into the forest a little way and took refuge behind a particularly wide tree. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. A huge cavalcade of soldiers on white horses rode past them. Their armour was clean and shiny. They carried green and silver shields with large red apples painted on them and waved flags with the same design. "Alex, did we go back in time?" Connor anxiously asked his sister. "That looks like something straight out the medieval times." The pencils were all obliterated under the horses' hooves. The soldiers were moving at such a fast and forceful pace that none of them noticed the awestruck twins peeking out from behind the tree. Alex was fixated on their shields. A red apple was such an odd thing to display on a shield, but there was something so familiar about it. She couldn't put her finger on it. The rumblings slowly faded away as the soldiers disappeared down the dirt path. The twins both stayed behind the tree for a few moments, making sure the coast was clear. "I don't know about you, but I've had about as much excitement as I can handle for one day," Connor told Alex. A poster pinned to a nearby tree caught Alex's eye. She walked over to it and pulled it off the tree for further inspection. It was old, with faded writing, and a picture of a disgruntled looking little girl with curly blonde hair was centred on it. The poster read, "Wanted, dead or alive, Goldilocks, for burglary, thievery, and running from the law." So you can see it there. Alex's face went white, and she stopped breathing for a moment. She had realised where they were. No wonder the trees had been so recognisable. She had seen pictures of them so many times growing up. The book had taken them to the exact place she had hoped. "Is it possible?" she asked herself. The wheels in her head had never spun as fast as they were now. "Is what possible?" Connor asked. "Do you know where we are?" "I think so," Alex told him. "Where?" Connor asked, fearing the answer. "Connor, we went into the book," she explained, but he wasn't following her. "I think we're actually in the land of stories." She handed him the wanted poster and he read it. His eyes grew as wide as a lemur's. No. This can't be happening. This is crazy," he said, shaking his head. He handed the poster back to his sister as if they were infected with rabies. He couldn't believe what she was saying. He didn't want to believe what she was being told. "Are you telling me we're in a fairy tale world?" "I'd recognise this forest anywhere. It's straight out of Grandma's book," Alex said with an unplanned smile. "But it makes perfect sense. Where else would it have taken us? We just fell through a book. Nothing makes sense," Connor said. "So are we stuck here or what? How do we get home?" "I don't have all the answers, Connor," Alex said. "Don't forget, all of this happened to me too." Connor began pacing around the trees with his hands on his hips. "I can't believe I ditched attention and wound up in another dimension," he said. Alex was rather grateful her brother had come after her. They had lived together all their lives and had been in the same classroom since kindergarten. She didn't know she could handle being in a different dimension by herself. "I hope you're happy, Alex," Connor said. "I told you we should have thrown the book into the creek." "Enough with the blaming," Alex said. "It doesn't matter how we got here. The point is, we're here now. What matters is finding someone who can help us get home." I'm going to stop it there. We've still got quite a bit to go. But I will see you with the next part of our book. Bye.